Arthur earns exactly $58,000 a year teaching middle school math, but his bank account holds a massive surprise, a $1.4 million net worth. If you saw him, you would never guess he is a millionaire. He drives a faded blue sedan he bought 12 years ago, packs his lunch every single day in a scratched Tupperware container, and lives in a modest, 3-bedroom ranch house. His wealth seems impossible for someone on a teacher's salary, but the numbers are completely real. Here is the harsh truth. Most people who earn double what Arthur makes will never even get close to his net worth. That is because building real wealth does not depend on a massive paycheck. Instead, there are exactly 4 numbers that decide your financial future, and your salary is not one of them. This secret has nothing to do with starting a trendy side hustle or getting lucky on the stock market. It is simply about making a few smart choices and repeating them over a very long period of time. You might feel skeptical right now. You have probably heard the advice to just start investing early 1,000 times before, and you likely ignored it because it sounds too simple. But the math does not lie. 4 specific habits separate an ordinary worker who becomes rich from one who stays stuck in the middle class. Income is not on that list, and once you understand how these 4 levers work, you can start building your own quiet fortune just like Arthur. The first number that shapes your wealth is your savings rate. This is the percentage of your paycheck that you actually keep, not the total amount of money you earn. When you get paid, deciding to ignore this number feels totally harmless. Leaving your cash in a checking account to spend later seems like a small choice that will not hurt you. However, this tiny habit is the exact reason why a modest earner can easily beat a high earner. If an executive makes $200,000 a year but spends every single penny on a flashy lifestyle, their savings rate is 0%. They are not actually building wealth. On the flip side, someone with a normal income who keeps a high percentage of their pay is quietly becoming rich. The difference comes down to a simple statistic. The average worker has a median savings rate of less than 5%. That means out of every $100 they earn, $95 goes out the door instantly. But the top group of wealth builders consistently saves 20% or more of their income. Look at Arthur from our story to see how this works. He earns a regular teacher's salary, but he maintains a high savings rate of 30%. By living simply, he automatically saves $17,400 every single year. Now imagine a high-earning lawyer who makes $150,000 a year. If that lawyer only has a savings rate of 3%, they are only putting away $4,500 a year. Even though the lawyer looks much richer, Arthur is saving nearly 4 times more cash every 12 months. Over time, Arthur's high savings rate creates a massive mountain of wealth, while the high earner is left with nothing but bills. Your income only shows how much money you can spend, but your savings rate shows how much wealth you actually hold. The second number that decides your wealth has less to do with math and much more to do with your behavior. This lever is your time in the market. Many people tell themselves that they will wait until they are older and making more money to start saving. But waiting is the most expensive mistake you can ever make, because time is a tool you can never buy back. To see how much an early start truly matters, look at 2 coworkers named Chloe and Dave. Both of them work at the same office and decide to invest the exact same amount of money, $300 every single month. The only difference between them is a 10-year head start. Chloe starts saving at age 25. She sets up an automatic transfer, goes to work, and lets her money grow for 10 years. By the time she turns 35, she stops putting new money into her account entirely. She just leaves her balance alone to grow. Dave, on the other hand, waits until he turns 35 to start. He realizes he needs to catch up, so he faithfully saves $300 every single month for 30 years straight, all the way until he retires at age 65. When they both retire, the result is shocking. Dave spent 30 years saving a total of $108,000 out of his own pocket. Chloe only spent 10 years saving a total of $36,000. Yet, because Chloe gave her money an extra 10 years to sit in the market, her account finishes with significantly more wealth than Dave's. Chloe's money had time to compound, meaning her interest earned its own interest over and over again like a rolling snowball. Dave worked much harder and saved 3 times more of his own cash, but he could never catch up to Chloe's 10-year head start. Time did all the heavy lifting for her, while Dave had to rely entirely on his own sweat. If you wait to start saving, you are forcing yourself to work twice as hard later in life just to get half as far. The third lever introduces a powerful image that explains how wealth actually grows, and it is an idea we will return to again and again. Think of your saved money as a second job that never clocks out. When you invest, you are essentially hiring a silent employee who works for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This worker does not need to sleep, never takes a vacation, and never asks for a break. Every single dollar you save is a new assistant you are adding to your team, and their only task is to go out and bring back more dollars for you. At first, you might only have a few of these silent employees on your side. If you save $100, they might only bring back a few pennies each month. It feels like nothing is happening, and it is easy to get discouraged. But if you keep adding more dollars to your account, your team of workers grows larger. Soon, the new dollars brought in by your original employees start hiring their own helpers. This is how the magic happens. Over a long period of time, this invisible workforce becomes so large and powerful that they start making more money than you do at your actual day job. This is exactly how Arthur reached his massive net worth. He did not work longer hours at the school, and he did not get a giant raise. He simply built a massive army of these silent employees over 30 years. While Arthur was sleeping, eating dinner, or teaching math, his money was busy working in the background, constantly multiplying itself. When you realize that saving money is actually about hiring a team of lifetime workers, you stop viewing savings as an expense. Instead, you see every saved dollar as a chance to build a personal workforce that will eventually fund your entire life. If you look at the scoreboard early in life, the high earner looks like they are winning by a mile. They live in a massive house, wear designer clothes, and vacation at luxury resorts. It is easy to assume they are building vast amounts of wealth. But this is where the grand illusion falls apart, because two hidden costs are secretly draining their accounts to zero. The first hidden cost is lifestyle inflation, which means spending more money every single time you get a raise. When the high earner moves from making $80,000 to $150,000, they do not save the extra cash. Instead, they buy a bigger car with a $900 monthly payment and sign a lease on a pricier apartment. The extra income gets swallowed up instantly by new bills. They are trapped on a treadmill, running faster but never gaining any ground. The second hidden cost is the double drain of higher taxes and investment fees. A person earning $150,000 sits in a much higher tax bracket, meaning the government takes a bigger bite out of every extra dollar they make. On top of that, they often pay fancy financial advisors a standard 2% fee just to manage their money. 2% sounds small, but over time, those fees can quietly eat away up to 1/3 of your total investment growth. When you add these numbers together, the math completely flips. The high earner takes home more cash, but after lifestyle inflation, heavy taxes, and high fees, they are actually left with less than zero savings. Meanwhile, our modest earner, Arthur, keeps his expenses low and uses cheap index funds with almost zero fees. Because he avoids these traps, his money stays in his account and keeps growing. The scoreboard completely reverses. The flashy high earner is actually drowning in debt and stress, while the quiet, modest earner has pulled far ahead, building true financial freedom. If I only showed you the perfect success stories, I would be doing exactly what every fake finance influencer does online. They make it look like building wealth is always easy, smooth, and guaranteed. But in the real world, life gets messy and unpredictable. The stock market can crash, wiping out years of hard work in a single month. Sudden medical emergencies can bring massive bills that completely destroy your savings. People lose their jobs unexpectedly, or their income goes up and down, making it very scary to plan for the future. Most importantly, we have to be completely honest about wages. There are some people who genuinely cannot save a single penny right now, and that is not a flaw in their character. If you are earning a very low wage and trying to pay for high rent, groceries, and utilities, telling you to just save 30% is insulting. It is simply impossible to save when your basic survival costs more than your paycheck. This is where the people who argue that income matters most are actually right. You absolutely need a baseline amount of money just to cover your basic human needs. If your income is too low to afford safe housing and food, your immediate goal should not be investing. Instead, your first step has to be finding ways to grow your income, like learning a new trade, taking a certification class, or switching to a higher-paying field. Once your paycheck grows large enough to cover your bills with a little bit left over, then these levers can finally start working for you. Wealth building is a powerful tool, but it only works when you have enough breathing room to actually use it. To truly understand this wealth system, we need to zoom out and look at how it works structurally. Building wealth is not about magic tricks. It relies on a very specific mechanism made of two powerful gears working together. The first gear is compound growth math, which means your money multiplies faster the longer it sits untouched. The second gear is using tax-advantaged accounts. These are special government-approved savings plans, like a 401k or an IRA, that shield your money from being chopped down by taxes every year. When you combine these two gears, your savings get to grow in a safe harbor, keeping every single dollar you earn so it can go right back to work for you. However, this system has a major enemy, and that is our modern marketing economy. Every day, large companies spend billions of dollars on advertisements designed to make you feel unhappy with what you have. They want you to believe that you need a newer car, a bigger television, or flashier clothes to be successful. This constant pressure pushes people directly into lifestyle inflation, forcing them to spend every new dollar they earn. The system is literally built to trick you into trading your future financial freedom for temporary things today. Recognizing this trap can be overwhelming, and it is important to take an empathy beat right here. If you have not started saving yet, or if you have fallen into the trap of spending too much, please do not feel judged or ashamed. The entire world around you is specifically designed to make you spend money, and resisting that pressure is incredibly hard. This is not about feeling guilty over past mistakes. It is simply about pulling back the curtain so you can see how the game is played. Once you understand the mechanism, you can stop letting the marketing economy run your life, and you can finally start using compound growth to build your own future. The fourth and final lever is automation, and it is the glue that holds the entire wealth system together. Automation means removing human willpower from the equation. Instead of trying to force yourself to be disciplined every single month, you set up a computer system to handle the choices for you. This works because human beings are naturally tempted to spend whatever cash is sitting in their checking accounts. By automating your savings, you remove that temptation entirely before it even starts. To put this system into action today, you just need to follow 3 simple steps. First, automate your savings so the money leaves your paycheck before you ever see it. You can set this up through your job's payroll department or your mobile banking app. If the money goes straight into an investment account on payday, your brain automatically adjusts to living on whatever amount is left over. You cannot spend money that you never see. Second, commit to raising your savings rate by just 1% every single time you get a raise or a bonus. If you get a 3% pay bump at work, do not let lifestyle inflation swallow it whole. Put 2% toward your lifestyle, but slide that extra 1% directly into your investments. This tiny adjustment is so small that you will never notice the difference in your daily life, but it will cause your team of silent workers to grow rapidly over time. Finally, the third step is to completely ignore your account balance for the next 10 years. Stop checking the stock market charts every day and stop worrying about the normal ups and downs of the economy. Just let your automated system do its job in the background while you focus on living your life. Building wealth is not supposed to be an exciting adventure filled with daily drama. It is a quiet, predictable process that rewards patience. By setting up these automated guardrails today, you can step out of the stressful race for a bigger salary and let your money quietly build your future freedom all on its own. 30 years later, the final score is completely undeniable. Arthur is still teaching middle school math, driving his old blue sedan, and eating lunch out of his worn Tupperware container. Yet, he holds a calm, quiet $1.4 million fortune. Meanwhile, the high-earning professionals who started the journey alongside him are still trapped at their desks, losing sleep over massive credit card bills and giant mortgages. The huge gap between these two lives was never determined by income. It was entirely decided by a person's savings rate, their time in the market, and their personal restraint. The truth is that wealth building comes down to a choice between two completely different paths. It is a daily battle between visible spending and invisible compounding. One path chooses flashy sports cars that lose value the moment you drive them home. The other path chooses low-cost index funds that quietly double in size over time. One path demands designer clothing to impress strangers today. The other path builds a silent army of digital employees to protect your freedom tomorrow. One path focuses entirely on looking rich to the outside world. The other path focuses on actually being wealthy. Arthur did not need a six-figure salary to win this game, and you do not need one either. You just need the courage to stop letting the modern marketing economy dictate how you spend your hard-earned paychecks. True financial freedom is not built by chasing a giant, impossible paycheck that always stays just out of reach. Instead, it is built by making small, automated choices today and having the patience to let time do the heavy lifting for you. Now that you finally see how the system works and how the scoreboard is truly kept, you have to make a choice of your own. Will you keep spending your money to look rich today, or will you start saving it to be truly free tomorrow?